Hello and welcome to another episode of Motors for the Masses, and I'm here today at C-Star Superbikes in Newton Flotman, just outside Norwich, for a demo ride on the new hybrid technology bike, the Ninja 7 Hybrid from Kawasaki. So let's roll the intro and get cracking. Now with this bike, Kawasaki are taking combustion engines to the next level through its use of battery hybridness complementing that combustion engine. Now that also means you don't need such a big engine. Now before I get onto that, let's look at the name. Kawasaki Ninja 7 Hybrid. Now what does that conjure in your mind? Images of a 700cc bike, I would say. But it's not. The reason why they've called it the Ninja 7 is because it performs like a 650 or a 700cc bike through its complementing electricityness, boosting through an e-boost that combustion engine. Now they also say that the initial acceleration with that e-boost engaged gives that of the likes of a 1000cc bike, but we'll find that out when we go out on the road. But for now, let's take a closer look at what you get. So underneath those fairings is a 451cc parallel twin 8-valve double overhead cam engine, developing on its own 58.5 brake horsepower and 32 pounds-foot of torque. However, with the 11 brake horsepower added e-boost in there, takes the bike up to 69 brake horsepower and 44.5 pounds-foot of torque. Now the lithium battery that's mounted behind the motor that powers the traction motor itself is a 50-volt 27.2 amp hour battery, but on its own does weigh 13 kilos. Now it is 6-speed, but not in the conventional way because there's no gear lever. That also means there's no conventional clutch lever. The gears are controlled through this switch gear, so you've got up gears and back down the gears. I'll talk more about this switch gear arrangement in a minute. So basically it's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, fifth, fourth, third, second, and 1th. But again, I'll talk about that more in detail in a minute. Now Kawasaki do say it uses fuel like a 250 and has some CO2s which are less than a 700, but it doesn't tell you how many CO2s. And I suppose it's difficult to gauge because if you're just doing riding round town only up to 45 miles an hour and you're in EV mode, then it's producing 0 CO2s, apart from obviously whatever comes off the tyres. But that's different. If, of course, you are on it all the time and you're using e-boost all the time in sport mode, then you are using, I'm guessing, what a 450 engine would use. But they don't tell you how much that is. If you are doing a mixture, then you'll be using more than nothing, but less than if you're on full. But then I suppose it's the same if you ride a conventional combustion engine bike at 30 miles an hour everywhere, or all the time. I changed gear far too early in that demonstration. I do apologise for those bikers out there that like to be on it all the time. Anyway, let's move on. Suspension wise, you get 41mm right way up forks on the front and a rear monoshock that is preload adjustable. You get two 300mm front discs with Nissan 2-piston calipers and a 250mm rear disc with, they say on the bump, a single piston caliper. That looks like a double one to me. You get 17-inch wheels front and rear, 120 front tyre, 160 on the back, and they are Dunlops. You get a respectable 14-litre fuel tank, and the bike is typically proportioned, so it is 2.1 metres long, 750 millimeters wide, so it's not that wide, 1.13 meters tall, and the seat height is only 795 millimeters. Now I am 5'10.5" with a 31.5-inch inside leg. Seated on here, it's a nice comfortable gel seat. My feet are flat on the floor with a slight bend in my knee, no problems whatsoever. It's very comfortable, a very good stretch. It's not even a stretch, a very good lean, shall we say. I'm still quite upright, no pressure on my wrists at all. With my leg up, it's neatly tucked in the curve of the tank, and it feels nice and snug. Yeah, very comfortable indeed. I've got no issues with this whatsoever in the way it feels. Size-wise, I think because of the seat height and the lowness of the bike, it does feel like a slightly smaller bike. I would say a 650 would feel slightly bigger. However, I have often found that Kawasaki's feel smaller than other manufacturers. So a 650 Kawasaki would not necessarily feel the same as a 650 Suzuki or a 650 Honda. Having said that, Hondas are quite small now, aren't they? So maybe I'm just talking nonsense. But yeah, it feels like a decent sized bike. It certainly doesn't feel like a 450. Let me put it that way. It does feel like a slightly bigger bike. See, I'm comparing it already to a 650, and it's not. It's technically a 450 with a bit of extra boost. So, you know, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's doing the right job. But yeah, nice and comfortable. Now, the only downside to having this tech on it is that it does add some weight. So as I said before, the battery itself that runs the traction motor is 13 kilos on its own. So you've got the motor as well and the engine, and that puts the bike at 227 kilos. Now, that does sound a lot of weight on paper, but maneuvering wise, it is actually quite light in comparison to, let's say, a 650. Again, should I compare it to a 650 or a 450? I mean, it is quite weighty on paper, but the real test will be how that weight transfers when we're out riding. Now, you have got the engine here and the motor and the battery here, so it's proportioned pretty well, but we'll find that out when we're on the road. Now, the bike does come with 3 riding modes. So you've got Sport Hybrid, Eco Hybrid and full EV, which means you can use only electric up to 45 miles an hour, which is great for those early morning starts to not annoy your neighbours, or riding around town for that eco-friendliness. You have got the option of auto or manual transmission, but again, I'll talk more about that when I'm out riding the bike. Also on the left-hand switch gear, as I said before, you've got your minus gears and your plus gears, your flash and your main beam here, your indicators here and your hazard flashes there, and then your horn underneath. And on the right-hand switch gear, you've got your start button and your kill switch and your e-boost button. The dash, you get a 4.3-inch TFT screen, which is backlit, so if you turn it on, bearing in mind it's in the blaring sun, you can still see quite clearly. Now, the dash is quite easy to read. I say even in the glaring sun, you've got your HEV and your EV at the top here, rev count along the top, that's telling you just to push down to start, your e-boost meter on the left hand side here and your fuel gauge on the right hand side here, average miles per gallon. Now, when I started riding this morning, that was at 35, and me just doing normal riding, up, down, sport, and trying out all the options. So far, it's 50 miles per gallon. And when I started out also, we only had 7 miles on the clock, and I've done now 23.5 miles. And by the time I finish riding, because I have more riding to do, and then I'll talk about that, as I say, when I'm on the bike, it'll be a hell of a lot more. So yes, I do switch around my videoing. Interesting, isn't it? At the moment, this is in auto gears, and you push and hold that button and it puts it into manual gears. Again, I'll talk more about how that all works when we're out on the bike. And you can connect your phone to the dash as well using the Kawasaki Ride app. Now, you also get walk mode through this button here, and what that means is when you're maneuvering the bike, you can push that when it's stationary in EV mode and use the throttle to go forward up to 5 miles an hour walking, and that way to go reverse up to 4 miles an hour to help you push the bike backwards. Now, personally, if 227 kilos is too much for you when you're pushing a bike that's assisted by 2 wheelie things, then maybe you shouldn't be on a bike. However, I suppose some people are moving to the smaller capacity bikes because 200 odd kilos is too much for them. So I suppose in that sense, it works. So if you're an older person or someone who can no longer push 220 odd kilos, then it's great. It's catering for all, I suppose. I just personally don't think it needs it. But who am I to talk? With the twist of the key, you can open this seat thusly, and you don't really get much space under there. Maybe you can get a Capri Sun in there. However, lift this up and you've got your toolkit under there and enough for a curly whirly and one sandwich. Oh, you can probably get another curly whirly down there as well. Or crunchy, get a crunchy in there. Nice, little bit of space. Right, let's do a quick sound test. So at the moment, the bike is on. Now, if I put it in EV mode, you'll hear it start up. There, it's currently in EV mode. Do you hear it start? No, because it's electric. However, put it back into combustion engine mode and it's in neutral, so we'll start the bike and this is what it sounds like. It sounds like any other Euro 5 ruined bike. Right then, time to get out of the baking sun, get my gear on and be even more baking and take it out for a ride. Now for those that are interested, even though Kawasaki are not forthcoming with their figures at the moment, in the 7 miles only that this bike has done, apparently it's 35.6 miles per gallon. But that's a PDI ride. It may or may not have been ridden well, let's put it that way. So to start with, obviously we've got everything on here that we need and we'll go through this as we ride. To start, you just push and hold that. No clutch to hold in. And there we go. Now to start with, I need to put it in gear using the gears down here. So we've got minus gears and plus gears on here. This is your flash, so don't be confused with the two. So hold in the brake, put it in first and you can feel it go in. No gear lever to play with and no clutch. So let's go. Right, okay. So it's easy to change gear with the flappy pedals here. It's a little bit of a lunge, which is like a lunge and a lurch. It's like a mixture of the two. E-boost is doing its thing apparently. I'm in 6th gear already. Put it down into 5th. No, it won't let me. So if I roll off the throttle, then I can go into 5th. It's saying I want to go up a gear basically. 6th. Obviously there's no more gears. Alright, so let's hold the e-boost button. E-boost is on. Right, now if I knock it down into 3rd and give it some. Yeah, there's a bit of a surge every time you change gear. You can put it in auto mode, so we'll try that as well, see what difference that makes. Am I in auto now? How can you tell? Where does it say? Let me push and hold it. Ah, there we go. Auto gears. So if I just open it up, no, in 6th. So can I still change gear? Yes, I can. Okay, how does that work then? I'm still in manual. Oh no, I can't change gear. So it's doing it on its own. Oh, okay, it's determining what gear I need to be in, is it? And apparently I need to be in 4th. Well, this is an experience. You have to bear with me because obviously it's the first time I've been on this bike. This technology's not been out before, and this bike has only done 7 miles previously. So I'm still learning how this all functions. Tell you what, whilst we're doing slow speeds, let's put it in EV, see if we can hear it shut down the engine. Apparently I can't put it in EV, I thought I could. No, I can't. I'm going to have to pull over and try and do it that way. So, it's supposed to be in automatic. I can't change gear. There you go. Is that doing it itself? No, I'm changing gear now. What? This is going to take some getting used to. There's nothing behind me. I can change down gear myself. Am I? Okay, is it because I'm in sport mode? Let's try eco. Won't let me put it in eco. Now I'm in eco. Alright, and then let's try auto. Alright, I'm in auto. Auto eco. See what that does. No. I can only change gear myself. What is going on? I'm going to pull over for a second and see if I can change it whilst stationary, because I was under the impression I could do it whilst riding, but perhaps I can't. So let's find somewhere to pull over here. Perfect. Obviously no brake or clutch, well, apart from the front brake obviously. I mean, right, okay, so it's changed gear itself. It's shut the engine down because I've stopped. So if I was to pull away, oh, I'm in Evo. Right, I'm in EV automatic gear. You can't put it in manual. Alright, okay, let's go. Okay. I'm doing 33, 34 miles an hour in electric mode only. Can you hear that? $40 miles an hour. 42 miles an hour, 43. A little bit of downhill. What am I going to get? 44. That's your lot. Now can I take that out of? No, that's it. I can't change that whilst I'm riding. If I roll off, can I change it? No, I can't. So I'm going to have to stop and change that. Okay. So now I'm in eco, manual, automatic. Okay. Did you hear that kick in? Why isn't it changing gear by itself? It's not, is it? I think I'm going to have to change gear myself, unless that's automatic in the downshift only. But so I still have to go up myself. I don't want to thrash it because it's only done 7 miles, so I'm going to change gear myself. Perhaps it's only automatic in the downshift. we're up to speed quite happily. Bearing in mind it's only a 451cc engine technically. I'm sitting quite happily at 70 in eco mode. In a minute I'll pull in, then I'll pull away in sport mode and see how good it is. I don't know why that rev counter keeps flashing. I'm in 6th gear doing 70 miles an hour. What's it flashing for? But it's quite happily sitting here. Well balanced, it feels well planted. Visibility out of the mirrors, I've got about 95% visibility behind me, which is pretty good. Mirrors are quite far away there. A little bit of buffeting and a bit of wind resistance, but the screen's doing a pretty decent job. Switch gears are very easy to use. So let me just check. Now it's in auto. If I slow down, will it change gear by itself? Perhaps that's what it means. Still in 6th. 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 5th. 4th. 3rd. Okay, so it's changing gear down by itself. That's interesting. And it's shut itself off. Because obviously we're sitting at a junction doing nothing. So I'm going to put that in manual gears and see if it does the same in manual, or if I have to physically do it myself. So at the moment I've got my rear brake, of course, with my right foot, but the engine's not running, but it's put me in first. So when I pull away, will it pull away in electric or will it pull away with power? I suppose it depends how much I open the throttle. Let's see. Okay, so initially electric and then the engine kicked in. Yeah, so gear wise, see now it's in gear 2, it's shut off. If I was to pull away, it's still in gear 2, but I have to physically put it in manual gears myself. Interesting. So the auto is not for the plus, it's only for the minus. If you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you still have to do it yourself with your finger. If you're going down the gears, you do it with your thumb in manual. In auto, the down gears will do it by itself. Does that make sense? So we'll just leave it in manual. Now we've worked that out, I no longer care about the auto, I'll just do it myself, thank you very much. It's weird sitting here, it's like I switched the engine off. People must think I'm on an electric bike. Well, technically I am, but not as such. I'm on a hybrid. So we're about to change lights. See? Engine kicked in. I mean, it's really low revs, but you've definitely got that lunge. Yeah, if you roll off the throttle a touch, it is much, much smoother. As in, flawless. Yeah, I like that. So what you don't want to do is just keep it pinned. It's not so much like a quick shifter where you just bang through the gears, because you get that lunge. So if you roll off the throttle a tiny, tiny amount, it will change gear perfectly nicely. Okay, interesting to know. As I say, it's a comfortable position. Bearing in mind you've got this clip-on look to the bike, you're still quite upright, which is good for me because I don't like leaning over so much. But comfortable grips, decent width apart. As I say, very good visibility out of the mirrors. There isn't a cruise control, but that's because technically it's only a 451cc engine, so you don't really need cruise control. It's very pleasant to ride. It hasn't got oodles of power, because you have to remember it's still a 451cc engine with just that E-boost. I'm going to try that in an accelerate in a minute. Even going past trucks, it holds its own really well. I think maybe it's because I'm in too high revs and it wants me to go right there, go right down in the revs, then change gear. Oh, really? Nobody rides like that. So it wants me to go right down in the revs to saving the planet and all that eco-friendliness. So that's what it's saying. I'm revving too much. That's why it's sort of an orangey amber colour. See the lunge here, look, and then down a gear. So technically it wants me to be there, and even then the gear is wrong. No, now change gear. Now change gear. Right down in the revs. 2,500, 3,000 RPM. So you roll off the throttle a touch, and you can go through the gears quite nicely without much of a lunge, hardly any lunge to be fair. So as a country rider, very pleasant, nice and forgiving suspension, a good comfortable gel seat, a little bit of a bump here over this, and it's a very simple, nice comfy suspension on the front and rear. And don't forget that rear is preload adjustable. The front is not adjustable at all, and they're right way up forks, but they still do the job quite well. Seat, I can certainly see myself doing many miles on this with this seat being comfortable. So basically what it's encouraging you to do with the colours, with the black and the yellow, is to ride really, really gingerly. I want to ride gingerly. See, now I've come up to this junction in fourth, which is fine. It shut itself off. If I pull away, no, because it's in manual, you see, it'll do it, and it gives me, interesting, it gives me the electric boost to make sure the bike doesn't stall. But technically you shouldn't be doing it, you should be using the manual gears. But that's very interesting. I like that. It's a very simple bike to ride then, so if you forget to change down a gear for any reason, it will sort you out. It doesn't like it, but it will sort you out. Now if I was to put it in automatic and then come up to a stop, it'll change the gears itself and then shut off. And then when I pull away, yeah, okay, right then, let's see what this e-boost is all about. So the e-boost will not work in eco mode. Put it in sport mode, the engine starts instantly. Hold e-boost, and we've got it. So ready. Oh, hello, bloody hell, Jesus, I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to pull away like it did in eco. Right, now I'm prepared for it. Let's try that again. Okay, so e-boost. Okay, yeah, that's got a fantastic acceleration with that e-boost on. Well, that makes a massive difference. And obviously as I've been riding without using the boost, this gauge has gone up, so I've got more boost now in that battery. That takes it to a whole new level of fun, because up until now it's been a 450 with some electric thrown in, and you haven't really had the opportunity to feel that boost technology. But now you put it in sport mode, and then you put the e-boost on, even in sport mode in 5th gear here, I've got no lunging, I've got no jerkiness. The throttle is very easy to keep at a smooth speed. They've done this really well. Now, officially, Kawasaki do not publish a top speed. It's around about 120, 125, but it's not a published figure. Just like the CO2s, which I'm guessing is quite hard to gauge, because it depends whether you're running in eco mode. If you're running in EV mode and you're only going around town and you're not using any of the engine, then you're not using any CO2s. However, if you are flooring it everywhere and you're using a mix of the e-boost, then you will do a lot of CO2s, but we don't know how much. Right, okay, so I'm in first. E-boost is on. Are you ready? Okay, it performs, yeah, like about a 650, I would say. Which is decent enough. So the e-boost is still there, allowing me to have fun. Still thinks I'm doing too many revs by the looking of that flashing. I'm only doing 5,000 RPM, that's not a lot at all. But in sport mode, it rides like a decent 650 sports bike, I would say. With pretty good acceleration. That e-boost certainly makes a big difference when you accelerate over, I would say, a standard 650. Now, don't get me wrong, that e-boost is not going to keep you pulling through the gears. It's only sort of first and second that you really feel it. After that, you don't really feel the e-boost, you just feel probably around about a 650 performance from a 450 bike. And that's where the e-boost keeps you going, but that initial e-boost on the acceleration does feel a lot quicker than a 650 would in first at least, and a little bit of second. So yes, they have done it very well. As long as you get used to how it all controls and how it all works, it's fine. Cornering wise, comes into corners quite nicely, doesn't have any dramas, no problems getting round corners, very simple. Now, bearing in mind it is 227 kilos, you can feel a little bit of extra weight, not as flickable as a lighter bike would be. Brakes are good, didn't know that corner was coming, but it held it really well. Yeah. Okay, that was good. It's quite pleasant actually, and fun, and the brakes are superb. Once you get it in sport mode, which personally I would leave it in all the time, it rides really well. It rides like a decent sports bike and not like a 450. Having said that, the CF Moto 450 SR is a great riding bike, and I think that could be a nice contender. But then this hybrid technology is, I think, the way forward. With electric not doing anywhere near as well as the government are hoping, hybrid, I think, is the future. You've still got the sound when you want it, and you've got the eco bit round town where the congestion is. So this has got to be the answer, isn't it? Hybrid has got to be the answer. Power when you want it, in and around congested areas, you've got no CO2 spurting out. What more could you ask for? Well done, Kawasaki, is all I can say. Well done indeed. Wow. Right then, I think it's time to get back and have a quick discussion and a sum up, and then we'll talk about the price and the colour options. fantastic bike. Very pleased with that, very pleased indeed. So there you go. What do you think of that? Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of it. I personally really do like the ride. Now when that e-boost is on and you're pulling away, that's some nice acceleration. Other than that, it's a pootler. You have got a bit of boost, and I would, yes, put it on par with the likes of a 650. Not a 450. However, I do like that CF Moto 450 SR. That was nice, but I don't think that rode as smoothly or as comfortably as this. And as an all-rounder bike, that's where this scores the big points, because it's got the acceleration if you want it, once you've worked out how to just flip between them, no problem at all. Or if you want to just pootle around, you can, and you're going to save the planet if you want to nip round town without using the combustion engine. It'll do that quite happily also. So there you go. It's got all of it rolled into one, and I'm really pleased that they brought it out, and it's a very good package. Now looks wise, it's a beautiful looking bike. I love that front end, very pretty looking bike. Now they do the hybrid technology in this, the 7 Ninja, and the Z version as well, and here's a picture of it. Now it only comes in one colour, which is this, they call it white, but to me this is silver and green. It's not white, unless it's a really, really shiny silver, which makes it white, but it's not white, is it? It's silver. Well, there you go. When you click on it, you can click white, and it's silver. So perhaps this is Kawasaki's version of white. Who knows? Anyway, you can get it in this colour only. Now with the Z750, it's the same colour, same options, same engine, etc., except you've got a slightly different style. However, there is a price, and that price is £11,949. On the road with a 2-year warranty, it's £12,081. And at the moment, the second you buy it, they instantly upgrade that warranty to 4 years. I don't know how long that's going to last, but at the moment you're getting a 4-year warranty on this bike. That is pretty impressive. Now, how does that compare to the likes of a combustion engine only Z650? They're 7.5 grand. So it's just over 4 grand more than a conventional combustion engine bike. But it depends how long you're going to keep it. It depends how much you're going to use that EV power and what benefits you're going to get out of that over a combustion engine bike. And I think that is where it's going. Now, this is the first of its kind, so they're only going to get better, more available and cheaper. But this, I think Kawasaki have really hit the nail on the head with this one. They've done a fantastic job, and I have to say the first valve service on this is 15,000 miles. That's pretty good as well. And that is all I have for this video. Thank you very much for joining me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video, and leave any comments you've got about this or anything else rival wise in the comment section below. Tell me if you've ridden one of these, what you thought of it, and what you think about this technology, and if you would jump on this as a long-term investment. And that's all I've got. So thank you very much. Until next time, I'll be back with lots more, of course. So until then, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye-bye. I need a cup of tea, I know that.